Well, it looks like it's that time again. We're taking the Fatal Core TCG for a spin, and I'm going to show you all the new features that have me loving this game and it eating up all my spare time. So I've been promoting Fatal Core over the past month in some short ads, but in this video, I thought I'd do a full breakdown, explain exactly what Fatal Core is, and of course, the new unbelievable draft mode. So first off, Fatal Core is a 100% completely free-to-play online trading card game. You don't need to spend a penny to get any of the cards, play online, or access any of the game modes. In fact, it's actually just the opposite. Fatal Core has tons of ways of earning free points with their daily login bonuses, which essentially translates into free packs just for going online. This means getting cards and packs is super easy. Heck, right now I actually have enough points to open like over 1,000 Paradox packs or something. Fatal Core also has a safe and secure online marketplace where players can actually sell and buy cards from each other, which is fantastic because it really gives the game that one man's trash is another man's treasure aspect. So even if you pull some cards that you don't necessarily want, you can always sell them to another player who might actually be looking for them. What sets Fatal Core apart from other TCGs is its remarkable simultaneous gameplay. I've played a few TCGs before, and this was something I had never even heard of or even thought was possible, but it works fantastically and it really eliminates the single biggest RNG element of almost every TCG in history, that being who goes first. In Fatal Core, there is no going first or going second, so there is no inherent unearned advantages. And there's definitely no first turn kills, where a player doesn't get to play the game. That alone was super refreshing in Fatal Core and definitely caught my attention, but the interesting leads kept it. In Fatal Core, after building a deck, you choose one of 6 lead characters. Each lead has their own unique benefits and board stats. This means even if you're playing a deck that's similar to your opponent's, your plays and your strategy could be completely different. I personally like Kahar because he has a pretty balanced board when it comes to offense and defense, and one of his zones gives your monsters rage, which I really like. Rage basically makes them go into beast mode and continually cranks up their attack value until they go insane. You've probably noticed by now, but Fatal Core is an absolutely beautifully designed game from an aesthetic standpoint. The leads all look cool and interesting, as do the cards. But it's not just some hollow fashion show. None of that would matter if the game didn't play well, and that it definitely does. Fatal Core has classes for all the cards ranking from C to S. As you imagine, the S rank cards are very powerful and can completely change the game. That's why there's a limit on how many S and A rank cards each player can have in their deck. I think it'd be pretty broken if you were just starting to learn how to play Fatal Core and you ran into someone whose entire deck was just filled with S-rank cards. So they're trying to make sure something like that doesn't happen. Speaking more to balance and things that just work, the all-new draft system is excellent and something that more TCGs should try. In draft mode, you actually get to craft original cards that can be used against other players. This is amazing for a couple of reasons. The first is that you get to build cards tailor-made to your specific playstyle and your favorite lead character. The second is because with the cards being new, you really have no idea what to expect from your opponents or really what they're going to be bringing into any game. Even if you know the meta and the card pool, when you go into draft mode, it's just a whole new ball game. Crafting cards in draft mode also ensures that your experience stays fresh and enjoyable because, of course, variety is the spice of life. Draft mode works on a finite point system, so you don't have to worry about a more experienced player crafting some uber all-powerful cards that you have no hope of countering. If you blow all your points early on, let's say, an S-rank card, then you can expect some of your later B and C ones to have major drawbacks. Fatal Core has a system where prior to starting a game, you can hide 2 cards in your opening hand from your opponent. I usually try to hide my S-rank cards, if I'm lucky enough to open with them, that is. However, in draft mode, you can't hide custom cards, so at least both players will have some type of heads up as to what type of Frankenstein concoctions their opponent has cooked up. Alright, I think I've talked enough and I've let you know exactly what Fatal Core is and all the inner workings and all that good stuff. I think it's time for some gameplay. So first, I'll warm up against the AI and then we'll take it to draft mode and I'll play against another player. Okay, so we're hopping in and I'm playing against the Prisoner 218 bot and I'm playing on medium difficulty, which I would not recommend if somebody is like completely new. If you want to test against the bots, definitely start on easy because on medium and hard, these things can definitely be aggressive. So Prisoner 218 has an interesting field and you can see the double M, like the highlighted border. That is an annoying ability that obviously like I don't have, but she has, and it stands for Mana Magnet. And what that does is if there's a creature there and you activate a spell, the creature will basically nullify the spell at the cost of itself. It kind of like tributes itself, or it destroys itself to, you know, nullify your spell and negate that. And it's a double-edged sword, but it can be really annoying if you're, you know, relying on maybe a spell-focused strategy or a spell-focused deck. You need something to really bail you out, and your opponent can just kind of like cancel that out. But it is a way of being able to, you know, out their monster. I did summon my S-class card almost immediately. I'm a big fan of that. I don't generally put it in the rage zone because like I like the rage zone. Basically, it will give the monster in the zone more attack value at the cost of reducing its hit point. So basically it gets easier to kill, but it pumps out like more damage, and it just progressively goes up and up and up, like slowly. So the card that's in the life zone, and this is something that Kahar has, he has this life zone, which is kind of nice because it gives you more HP back at like the end of your turn, which, you know, once your HP runs out, you lose the game. So I think even having a little bit, you can see I have a small lead, and one of my creatures has like the ability to do 4 damage to my opponent directly, which is, it's giving me just that little edge between those two things, which is definitely very nice. But yeah, the rage zone monster will get progressively stronger. Now you only get 6 zones in this game, and once your monsters or your creatures are destroyed, they turn into like those corpses. There are ways, actually, you can see the creature in my life zone actually just died now. There are ways to get rid of corpses, but if your board gets all blocked up and you don't have any ways of erasing your corpses, it can kind of be a problem. So I'm doing a lot of damage right there with that one card that keeps attacking her directly, essentially, during the end turn, and she doesn't really have a way of dealing with that. So I feel like I can definitely hold out for a couple more turns. Looks like a spell is going to be activated, and yeah, the Mana Magnet actually just sucked that up. So I think I'm going to be able to close this one out. Different leads, well, like different settings will also determine how many hit points the leads have. So if you body a lead on, you know, easy mode, don't necessarily think that you can handle them when it comes to like hard or something like that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the other footage. Okay, so for this one, I'll probably jump around a bit. I think this game took about 10 or 12 minutes, so I'm not exactly going to show the entire thing from like start to finish, but I'll definitely kind of break up the footage. And, you know, we're using custom cards, so if you do play in draft mode, like your experience is not going to be the same because you're not going to have the same exact cards as me and my opponent were playing. They're playing as the Joanne lead, and you can see that we both started with 80 HP. So it's not quite like playing against the bots where they have like you've got like a baked-in advantage. Now, this was like an interesting game, and Joanne's board is kind of different. A lot of plus, you know, plus ones, plus twos, minus ones. It doesn't have anything crazy like rage or life or Mana Magnet, anything like that. So yeah, just a kind of like a lead for someone who maybe wants to not go completely balls to the wall and do all types of stuff like that. Yeah, the custom cards really do add a unique element to any of these games because you don't really know what to expect. Now, obviously, when you begin the game, if you open with any of them, they have to be revealed. However, your opponent is not going to necessarily open with all of them. So honestly, they're just kind of crazy and you really don't know what to expect. So yeah, this game kind of just blew by, and I had this strategy where I have this one monster, and it's basically kind of, I guess in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, basically like putting out tokens, and it put a token in my rage column, and that's like really cool because, you know, the token doesn't have that much attack, but obviously with the rage column or the rage zone, it just gives you more attack every turn. Basically, your attack just keeps going up, and you know, some of the cards I'm not like super experienced with because I'll make a card and then play it for a couple of games and then just build like a new deck or something like that. I did notice my opponent was doing, they were activating a whole lot of spells, like this one right there called Gate, which is really interesting. When a creature becomes soulless, in Fatal Core, it doesn't mean that the creature is like dead or anything. It does basically mean that it doesn't have its effects anymore, but you know, it definitely can still be useful. It can block attacks. I was really lucky to get this card, which, because I've got a couple of corpses blocking up my board and I want to get those off the board so I can use my rage zone and stuff like that. So that's why I'm looking at this and I'm like, how do I get rid of these corpses so that I can keep this whole token beatdown engine basically going? And I think I'm going to play that card. And I think eventually, because I'm going to target some creatures in my opponents, like in one of their columns or one of their rows, and I'm going to try to, you know, debuff those, and then I'm going to erase the corpses on my board, and then obviously I'll be good to go. But yeah, this is just a really small taste of what Fatal Core has to offer, and the gameplay is incredibly balanced. It's fun. It is exciting. There's really no RNG in the game. There's no starting or going seconds or anything like that. Some annoying things that you see in other card games. And if you guys would like to give Fatal Core a try, if you guys would like to take it for a spin, then go to fatalcoretcg.com or check out any of the links in my description, because there I will have a link to the website as well as the Discord if you guys want to talk to like other players, you know, hear their experiences, learn from people who are more knowledgeable. And yeah, it doesn't take very long to get a lot of cards in this game, as I showed you guys earlier. So that's just another benefit of it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always, and thank you to Fatal Core for sponsoring this video.